everyone and welcome back to Witchtionery. If you have yet to subscribe to this channel, then please do so because we are getting spooky and crafty all month long. Today I wanted to bring to you the Love from Lizi September 2018 Mega Pack Kit. This kit is called a Mega Pack because it brings a ton of supplies and it is Lizi's second anniversary being a card designer, and I'm so happy she got into this business because she gave me what I prayed for. She gave me a Halloween kit worthy of being called a Halloween kit with these beautiful, beautiful ladies and beautiful designs that I'd never ever seen before in a kit. Because I'm an international buyer, this kit took a little bit longer to get to me, so it's kind of perfect for October, although I got it in September. For my first card, I took out a piece of Strathmore watercolor paper and a Sizzix Circle die to make a masking little panel for the circle at the center of my panel. I also took out a distress ink in black soot just so I can put on a piece of acetate and have a good solid color to work with. I am making a moon at the center of this panel, and to make a moon you're literally making a sphere and you're following the light source that I decided to make at the top right hand corner and just following the shadows down, just dabbing occasionally so you can make craters and different little light sources. Nothing super fancy, although I still feel like I can use improvement with making this moon. So how did I get this kit? So I am not subscribed to Love from Lizi. I am not. She is expensive for my budget, although I would love to be subscribed. Anyway, my friend came into work once when this first launched in August and was like, you need to stop everything that you're doing and go check out Love from Lizi's kit right now because it's right up your alley. It's just your aesthetic. You're gonna love this kit. And I was like, what she know about me? Okay. But I ended up doing it and I regretted everything I said because she was right on point. I saw this kit and I was extremely excited because I had never seen anything like this on the market. I'd never seen any of the card companies even make a design like this, and that really excited me a lot. So I, of course, begged my boyfriend, like any other girlfriend would do, for him to buy me this kit, and he not only obliged, he was like, yeah, get an add-on as well if you'd really like. I want to support you in your crafting journey. So I did that, and then when I got it, I think I busted out into hyperventilation tears again because this is just such a pretty kit. So that's my story behind this. I really love her kit, so I think from now on, occasionally, I might buy one and just do cards with it because it's great. But I don't want to consistently have to do that, so yeah. For my next stage of this card, I masked off my moon that I just did. I was still kind of unsure about it. And from my stash, I pulled out my shaded Lilac and started ink blending around that circle, going from a lighter shade onto the darkest. My medium color is going to be Seedless Preserves, and my last one is Black Soot. Now, I tried to play around with more colorful backgrounds, like with picked raspberry and even some oranges to make some true autumn Halloween background, but the kit itself has an extremely limited color palette and it is extremely feminine and Halloween themed, so when you bring in things like oranges and hot pinks, it doesn't really work with how the kit is set up. So I kind of had to stick to this color palette and I was okay with it. It looked really good. To soften off the edge of my moon, I just go over it with some water just so I can make that circle a little bit less harsh. From the actual cutout kit, I wasn't sure if this had to be layered or not. So for my first little image, I didn't actually layer her, and I was not regretful, but later on I kind of was. I ended up making 6 cards in this video, and I will come back with the other 4, and you'll see like what I mean. Anyway, from the kit itself, she brought some peel-offs, I guess. This is what this is called, and I was in love with them because they brought a little added shimmer into the kit that I wasn't really expecting outside of the sequins, and I used them a lot more than I care to admit. But here I'm making a border around my card kit to give a little bit more interest aside from the witch and the moon. I raise up my witch with some foam circles, and then I go back into the cutouts and I look for a sentiment. I end up deciding on Witch Please because I feel like she is giving me a little bit of an attitude. I give the sentiment a little bit of a border with one of the shimmery papers that came in this kit, and then I raise that up with some foam circles. Once I was done with that, I go ahead and I bring out my Nuvo drops that also came in this kit, because this kit is literally a mega pack and brought everything but the kitchen sink, and I just do a couple embellishments here and there. I put this card on a gray card base that came in this kit, and I took out my ebony black Nuvo drops that were in my stash just to really tie everything together. And just like that, my first card is done. For my second card, I also pulled out from the kit another shimmery paper. This one was the pink one, and I really wasn't sure how this was going to look. I'm not someone that typically experiments with papers a lot, but I kind of just felt like this kit called for it. So I pulled out the shaded Lilac and Seedless Preserves and the black Soot, this time working from darkest to lightest so I can give my cobweb this kind of ombre effect. And I am in love with this cobweb, by the way. I ended up with one too many cobwebs this Halloween season, but I ain't mad at that. This kit also came out with a bunch of like little paper die cuts of all of the images, and I use those mainly for the entire kit, despite the fact that I have the stamp set that goes along with this kit. So I pulled out the cauldron and this little blonde witchy girl, and I decided to make little bubbles coming from this kit using some ebony Nuvo drops. And then I also pulled out one of those peel sticker things to put on the corner, and I adhered this entire thing down to a black cardstock. And once I was done with that, this finished off my card. For my next card, I wanted to do something that didn't really have any characters inside, but I found that the die cuts in this pack had a bunch of like little floral flourishes, and I wasn't really expecting it. You know, like whenever you get flowers or things like that from a card kit, they're not normally like this. Like, they're not spooky looking, and I'm really happy she included it in this kit because it's going to bring a ton of inspiration going forward when it comes to floral palettes, you can say. So yeah, I pulled out all of the little flowers and the leaves that were in this just to give a good floral corner, like, sort of thing, like a corner wreath embellishment to the corners of this paper. And I adhered a black piece of paper down to a piece of glittery faux cardstock that came with this kit. And once I adhered everything down, I chose the sentiment spooky to go at the very top. This card honestly reminded me of a wedding card that you would give to somebody who was having a very gothic wedding. And I was living for this because, yo, who comes to a wedding? One, like, who throws a gothic wedding? And if you are, can I be invited? I'll be your best friend. And secondly, like, who shows up with a card like this ready to be like, to the bride and the groom on your spooky day? Like, yes! I don't know, I was feeling this card. I pulled out my Nuvo drops from this kit, and I just added some more embellishments at the center of this just to make sure there wasn't a huge divide that looked way too awkward. And I adhere this base down to, I believe it's a purple piece of cardstock that came with this kit, and that finished off my card. And this probably is my favorite card that I've made. For my fourth card, I decided to work with those little die cuts, and I'm gonna make a cute little background like I've been doing this entire time. So I pulled out Spun Sugar this time just because I wanted a little bit more of a lighter ombre effect, and I felt like this color was still light enough and still within the color palette to, you know, kind of give me life when I'm trying to, you know, make this background. So I also pulled out the exact same colors I'd been working with before, the shaded Lilac, the Seedless Preserves, and the black Soot, to do a little effect of like a little ombre effect where you kind of just have a centerpiece of focus. And that's where I'm going to start working with my little bat girl and the pumpkins and this little bat. I also just did a little bit of water dripping onto the panel because I wanted to give this the like little sensation of looking like the night. So I was really happy with that. Once I was happy with the placement, I really was trying to go for like a bat girl trying to learn how to fly off of pumpkins with her little friendly bat. And I really enjoyed how that looked. I raised up these little die cuts, and then from the stash I pulled out the Love from Lizi sequin set. This sequin set is absolutely like delicious. I have no other adjective for it other than delicious. I put some sequins on the back of my panel, and then I adhere it down to a piece of pink cardstock, and then I put the sentiment, I put a spell on you on the inside of this card, and I was really happy with that until I thought that maybe this needed a little bit more bling because it wasn't popping out for me enough. So I pulled out the pull apart metallic reflective strips again, and I just put 2 on each side of this card, and that finished off my card, and I was super happy with this card as well. For my next card, I wanted to use the super awesome back panel paper that came in this set. So Lizi also gives you paper when, you know, you have her kits, and I'm really in love with some of this paper. It's super creative. For this panel, I kind of wanted to make my little witchy girl look like she was talking to the spider, and I just used little pieces of black cardstock that came in this kit to accomplish that. So I first grounded her by giving her a little black strip to stand on, and then I used my gel pen to give her a good solid ground to like walk on. I didn't really need to do that. I felt like it was honestly pointless. And then for the spider, although I do this off camera, I also do the same thing so that way I can draw a little spider web for her to drop down and kind of like say hi. This kit also came with ribbon, so I decided that I wanted to play with that ribbon and give this card a pretty little bow at the top. So I fidget with that for a little bit until I'm really happy, and then I take this card and I place it down on a piece of pink cardstock, and I put the sentiment Sweet and Spooky around it, and that made me really happy. I pulled out the Nuvo drops just to give this a little bit more ba-pow. And once I was satisfied with all of that, that finished off this card. For my final card of this video, although not, you know, of the entire kit, you guys are gonna have to stick around for this. I wanted to make a shaker card. For anybody who knows me, when I first started crafting, like 2016, I had the worst time with shaker cards, so I'm really happy to do one like on camera. So I took out a piece of Hero Arts Acetate, and then I just start generously using my tape runner to, you know, just have some glue around my panel, and then I glue down my little acetate panel and then trim off any of the excess around my actual panel. Once I was done doing that, I wanted to make a background for my panel, so I used that beautiful cobweb stencil and my black soot ink to just make a nice little background for it. I wanted something that wasn't going to be super distracting for the sequins or for my card itself. Once I was happy with the amount of sequins that I was going to put into this kit, I just took my panel and I flattened it down on top of my sequin mix, and then I adhered down a little owl die cut and a sentiment from the stash, and that finished off this card. It says trick or treat, y'all, and it's an awesome shaker card, and I couldn't be more excited. Well guys, that completes the first part of my 10 cards 1 kit using the Love from Lizi kit. Stick around for more spooky things, and I hope to see you guys again.